All right, I want to talk today about a concept that I hear a lot of people sort of referring to when they're explaining to me what their relationship with food is like and what their challenges with food are like and why they keep sabotaging themselves and why they struggle to stay consistent. And that is, they might not use these words, but I sort of lump this together in this one interesting bucket, which is eating for future hunger. Okay. Now, if you are new to me and this is maybe one of the first times you're catching one of my live broadcasts, my name is Sarah Best and I am a nutritionist, but I'm also a consistency coach. And what I do is really work with people not on what they should be eating and not eating, because I really feel like we have enough of that information. Instead, my work is really about helping you change behavior, change habits, change what's going on up here so that you can start working with the way your brain is naturally wired rather than against it, so that you can be consistent with making the healthy choices, whether it's food or exercise or self-care, that you really want to be making and that you've been trying to be making, but you're sort of taking one step forward and two steps back because, again, you're missing this piece of the puzzle, and that is what's going on up here. So until we can sort of change that operating system and change that foundation, that wiring that's going on, you can try to do all the different programs and diets and different approaches and read all the books, but none of them are going to stick long term. You're not going to be able to be consistent because you are trying to put new behaviors on top of an old operating system, right? And they don't match. It doesn't work. They don't line up. And so that's why we keep falling off the wagon. So that's a little bit about me. So let's get back to what I was talking about here, which is what I call this eating for future hunger. And when I first came to learn about this and started thinking about it and formulating my ideas about it, I realized this was something I really do or did. Not so much anymore because I've really transformed my relationship with food and with myself. But eating for future hunger is when you find yourself, you're not maybe really hungry right now, but you're worried, but what if I get hungry later? So I should probably finish all of this. Maybe I've eaten kind of half my lunch or half my dinner or half my snack. And if I'm being honest, I'm probably fine. I feel satisfied. I'm not hungry anymore, but I'm going to finish it because I don't know if I'm going to be busy later. I don't know when I'm going to get to eat again. I don't want to be hungry. And so I'm just going to eat all of this. And we do this a lot, right? It's this sort of like, we're not really honoring how our bodies are feeling. We're sort of force feeding ourselves extra food because we're afraid of future hunger. And I think this is kind of fascinating because for a number of reasons. One, we live, for the most part, we all, if you're watching me right now, you probably live in a world, in a society, in a community, in a neighborhood where food is easy to find. You probably have a lot of food in your house right now. There's probably a lot of stores around that sell food. You probably have apps on your phone that will make people bring food to your house. So there is no shortage of food, right? We're not actually going to run out of food. I know sometimes people are busy and they're worried, what if I don't have time later to grab something? But the other thing with that is that, so then, you might be hungry for a little while later, but hunger is also not the end of the world, right? You're not going to be dangerously hungry. You're not going to, we have this fear of just even the feeling of hunger, just the beginnings, just an inkling of hunger is terrifying to us. And so all of these things wrapped up sort of force us often into this state of eating for future hunger. So we're eating when we're not really hungry right now, or maybe we were hungry, but now we're satisfied, but we're still eating because of our fear of future hunger. And I think it's kind of an interesting thing. And this might be something that you find yourself doing as well. People tell me all the time, oh, I hate being hungry. Or people say like, oh, I have hypoglycemic or whatever. And so I have to always eat. And again, I would argue that unless you have a very serious health condition, and so that might be a different situation for you. But most of us, again, there's always lots of food around. It's not that hard to come by food. And second, a little bit of hunger is fine, right? You can withstand a little bit of hunger until you get to your next destination, or till you get to a store, or till you can, hit someone up for an apple or something. And yet we find ourselves, it's sort of this anxiety around this future hunger, right? So I think it's kind of interesting because I actually think it speaks to something deeper that, as I think all things food related do, right? When you have sort of a challenging relationship with food, if you're someone who is using food for something other than just fuel, and there are those people, amazing unicorns that they are, walking amongst us, who just use food for fuel. It's going to be different for them, right? If they're hungry, they probably eat, and then they stop when they're satisfied, and then they don't eat again until they're hungry. They're few and far between, but I think they do exist. For the rest of us, we all use food for different reasons: emotional reasons, social reasons, celebratory reasons, all kinds of things, right? We use food to deal with feelings and thoughts and situations and stories and all of that. And so when we're eating for future hunger, I think that there's this sense about it. And again, I say this as somebody who used to do this a lot. So I know how it feels. I know that sort of anxiety, that itchiness that comes from like, oh, I better eat because I don't want to be hungry later. Or what if there isn't any food where I'm going? Or, what if I don't have time to grab something later? Or I think that there's more to that. I think there's something deeper under the surface, which is a more general sense of always searching for the next thing, right? Of always looking for something. We're always looking externally for something that we might need. I need these things, and what else do I need? And what else can I get? And do I have enough of this? And do I have enough of that? And then comparing to somebody else, well, she has this, and so maybe I should have that. Or does she have more than that of me? Or does he have more than that? Or do they have less? Or do I have less? Or do I need more, right? It's this constant calculation of what I need and what I have and what other people have and what I want. And at the root of all of that is a fascinating lack of awareness about what we already have, right? The truth is that there is nothing external to you that is going to satisfy the feelings and thoughts that are going on within you. That has to be an inside job, right? The only way to actually address sort of uncomfortable or problematic feelings and thoughts is internally. And we don't want to do that because it's uncomfortable and scary. But so we go externally, right? We turn to food, or we turn to social media, or we turn to shopping, or we turn to, celebrity gossip or family gossip, right? We turn externally for things. And so I think when we're eating for future hunger, this is a little bit what we're doing. We're looking to what's the next thing I can get to sort of to fill a hole, right? It feels like there's something missing. It feels like there's a hole, and maybe there is. So we're looking externally to fill that. When the truth is, it sounds cliche, but like everything that we want in terms of how we want to feel, right? I'm not saying like if you want a sports car, you already have it, but the feeling you would get from having the sports car, or in this context of food, the feeling you would get from the chocolate, you can already tap into and access right now. And nothing external is going to be able to give that to you, right? Feelings and thoughts are all created internally. I know we feel that they are created by the external world, and we may be triggered by things externally. But at the end of the day, all of your feelings and thoughts are created internally, and thus can only be changed internally. And new feelings and thoughts can only be created internally. None of that can be done from anything external to you, whether it's a sports car or the chocolate or this, am I going to have enough snacks? Am I going to have enough food? So the feeling that we're looking for in terms of feeling satisfied, feeling safe, feeling like we have enough, feeling like we're not going to run out, that all needs to be created within yourself, right? You can just choose to feel that way. And very often I think we forget that, right? And so we're looking to food, or again, any host of other things, to make us feel satisfied, make us feel like we have enough, make us feel secure, make us feel safe, make us feel like everything's going to be all right. And snacks, food, meals, sports cars, they can't do that. So I think usually when I do these videos, I like to kind of have like 3 steps, 3 tips or something, or, 5 tips or something, but I don't have that today. But what I do have for you is I just really wanted to come and chat with you about this today, because especially, depending on when you're watching this, I'm filming this just before we head into the holiday week next week with Christmas and then New Year's and everything. And it's a time when we're very externally focused, right? When we're really, there's presents and there's people and there's food, and it's sometimes it's lovely, but we're very externally focused. And so I think we can get even more caught up in this sort of eating for future hunger, and eating for a lot of other external reasons, right? And so I guess I just want to encourage you, when you're thinking about this, or if you notice yourself getting caught up in that eating for future hunger, when you're eating when you're not hungry right now, or when you've eaten but you've had enough, you're satisfied, but you're still eating because you're worried about future hunger, think about how you can have what you already have, right? Instead of thinking about what you can have later, think about just letting yourself have what you already have. And I don't mean just in the sense of gratitude for all the things in your life and the people in your life, although that's lovely. But it's really about more the feeling, the feeling you're hoping that future food will give you, of feeling satisfied, feeling like you have enough, feeling secure, feeling safe. You have that right now. It's already here. You're just not letting yourself have it, right? You're not letting yourself have it. So just think about that. Just let that idea kind of ping pong around in your head, right? Just this idea of like letting yourself have the things you have, of letting yourself not just be delighted in, the chocolate you're going to eat later, or the, cookies you're going to eat at the Christmas party later. We look forward to those, that future reward. We look forward to that and all the joy and deliciousness it's going to bring. It's going to be so wonderful. I can't wait to have those butter tarts or whatever. Instead of always looking forward to that deliciousness, let yourself have the deliciousness that's already here, right? Deliciousness in terms of what's around you, again, absolutely gratitude for all the amazing things you have in your life. But little things, sometimes we think too big when we think about gratitude. And again, sometimes the holidays can be a time when people are extra challenged in terms of gratitude, because for many people, the holidays is a very difficult time. It can be a lonely time. It can be, depending on what happened for you this year, you might have lost somebody that is making this holiday really challenging for you. So, but the fact is that there is deliciousness in your life. There just is. There might also be tough things in your life. There definitely probably is. But there is also deliciousness. Aside from food, aside from whatever presents you're buying, aside from all of that, there is just deliciousness in your life. From the eyeglasses that work and help you read things, to the, just the sunshine coming in through your window, the fur of your dog when you pet your dog, the wind in the air, little things that we just pass right by. We don't pay attention to. We're so busy trying to rush to the next thing that hopefully will scratch the itch we're looking for, or fill the hole, fill the void, make us feel delicious, that we don't stop and just let ourselves have the deliciousness that we already have. And until you're able to do that, no amount of future food or future anything is going to fill that hole, right? Because even when you get there, you're just going to move the marker, right? You're going to get that thing. We know this happens with food, right? We're craving that snack, especially like at nighttime, looking forward to it all day, those butter tarts in the fridge or whatever, the chocolate cake in the freezer, and you get it and you eat it and didn't really work, right? It might've been tasty, but pretty soon after you just want more, or now I want something else. Maybe now I need something salty, right? It's like we have a insatiable appetite for more. And it's because we're not letting ourselves have what we already have, right? Again, all the feelings that you want from that butter tart or that chocolate cake, you already have. They're already available to you. You're just not tapping into them. You're just not letting yourself have them. So just seek out. That's all. Again, I don't want to give you sort of 3 strategies or anything this time. just one thing. I just want you to think, even as you move through these next few weeks, if you're watching this in real time before the holidays, but anytime, see where you can just, you won't be able to do this all the time because, we all have very deeply inset neural pathways and habits around how we typically look to external things to fill voids in our lives. But just become aware of this. Just, again, let this idea ping pong around in your head and just think about where you can let yourself have the deliciousness that is already in your life. And that could look like anything. That could look like the people that you love. It could look like the food you're already eating right now, right? Instead of thinking about how you can eat more of this so you're not hungry later, just slow down and just enjoy the food you're having right now. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about future hunger. Don't worry about whether you'll be hungry later. It's fine. You're going to survive. Just be here, be present, have what you're having, and you'll be amazed at how much more satisfaction you get from that, right? But again, this goes broader than just food. Let yourself have the deliciousness in your life in all regards. Just notice the amazing things around you, right? So many amazing things. Birds flying in the sky. That's amazing, right? Just amazing things. So that's all I wanted to leave you with today, is just to think about, if you are somebody that gets caught up in eating for future hunger, always looking for sort of the next thing, will I have enough? Maybe I should get more now, because what if I don't have enough later? Let yourself have what you already have, and you will find that you always have enough, right? You really will. It's really a choice about how you want to perceive that. And that's the wonderful thing, is that it's entirely your choice. And so that's such a fantastic thing for all of us, right? Okay, good. Hi, Frankie. Hi, Stacy. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's food for thought, no pun intended. And think about that as you navigate these next few weeks, or again, anytime. Think about letting yourself have what you already have what you're already having when it comes to food, and see if that doesn't create a shift for you in terms of diminishing that need to eat for future hunger. All right. Okay. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later.